Sorry. Let me turn this off. Not a great start.
Well, I won't confiscate it. First offence. Right, so I'm going to pretend that I don't know the outcome of this interview. And I certainly won't give away that we are desperate to have you back. Thanks to 2 staff breakdowns, a spate of maternity leave, and our head of English deciding she needs to find herself in an ashram in Kent.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Welcome to episode 365 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that's insisting on a moratorium on prison breaks for the rest of the year unless the next one involves a pile and a cake. I'm Gavin.
And I didn't realize that they cast Little Orphan Annie as Mick this week.
You're going to have to walk me through that one.
Escaping through the laundry?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't remember him singing Tomorrow.
No, at that point it would have been Hard Knock Life.
And I wouldn't have put it past him doing that, though. I mean, if we're trying to do a convincing prison break, stopping to sing a song would be completely
and a little
on
dance.
Point.
Yeah. I'm just glad that there were no DVDs of How I Met Your Mother involved.
A little disappointed. Anyway, how are you this week?
Yeah, all right. I'm busy. Lots
Oh,
of
who
stuff.
isn't, Helen?
Who isn't? We're winding down our latest auction and
Yep, hold on. You did say the magic word.
auction.
Winding down.
Talk.
No.
So I was working. We have these really great framed book plates from a 1844 book on conchology, which is the study of
The nose.
seashells.
No,
And
I prefer my answer.
it's funny because, you know, occasionally I will use Google Lens to help identify the particular shells or, you know, identify something. So I was
Did
using
it all come back as C?
the shells, and it worked for some of them, but it didn't work for all of them because there were a few shells that looked like something else.
Oh,
That
I was about to congratulate you on attempting to make seashell identification intriguing.
because, you know, Google AI, there are certain things that it will say, I'm sorry, I can't identify that for you. And apparently seashells that look like lady bits are one of those things that Google AI will not identify for you.
Have you ever walked through the walkway that connects the 2 buildings of my work?
Yes.
There's a piece of art as you're walking from the 8 building to the 1 building that is, I'm going to say, a coffee bean with a curved line down the middle of it. And I enjoy saying to people, what does that remind you of? And the number of people who have said, now I can't unsee it. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Inappropriate art identification at work.
I'm surprised that you haven't been called down to HR yet.
I'm just asking if it reminds them of anything. I'm not saying, hey, that looks like a fanny. None of those look like fannies.
Really?
Sorry. For JJ's.
That doesn't look like a clitoris to you?
Which one?
It's one on the bottom? In the corner?
Oh, no, I can never focus on it.
The seashell?
My sight's not what it used to be.
The seashell or the clitoris?
I'll leave that to you to decide. Okay, you've charmed me with that far enough, I think.
Okay, good. How are you this week?
It's been exciting.
Really?
It's been exciting because I've been teasing on social media about our big announcement.
Oh, are we doing this now?
Yeah. Get it out of the way.
In our pre-show banter?
In our pre-show banter. I'm going to move on from the pre-show banter into a
Exciting news
exciting news section. Exciting news section.
of the week.
So we've been talking over the last week or so about, our friends of the podcast are people that we love. We have some friends of the podcast that have been friends for literally years.
Yes.
And you had the bright idea of, well, why don't we give them something that is value for their money?
Credit where it's due. Tom helped cook up this idea
Okay.
on Blue Sky.
Thank you,
you, Tom.
So, I have said literally for years that The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, and that's not
Correct.
changing.
No.
This show, the one that you're listening to right now, will always be free. But today we're announcing the launch of a new show available to our friends of the podcast.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
The Talk of the Street, spoiler alert, will be a weekly look forward to the coming week's shows where we talk about what's upcoming and what we think about that and how excited we are or not. This will be made...
Mostly not.
Mostly not. And this will be available on the same weekend of the main show, ideally right after.
Yes.
But maybe on the Sunday, depending on what we've got going. So to be a friend of the podcast, that's a couple of bucks a month on Ko-Fi or Patreon that I'll mention at the end of this bit. But that's not all.
What?
At the same friend of the podcast level, you will also get access to our other new show.
What?
So you should have saved that what for that thing.
There's enough what to go around.
The Talk of the Street Classics, where Helen and I will go through the 65 years of the show and pull out classic episodes to give a review to. A review that only Helen and Gavin can give,
Correct.
where we swear and talk about getting your hole.
Yes, and shells that look like vaginas.
This will be a monthly show starting from August the 1st, we're aiming for,
Yes.
where we will recap Coronation Street Episode 1. What other place could we possibly start?
I can't think of a better place to start.
So that's all upcoming from today. So this week there will be the Talk of the Street, spoiler alert, episode. We will talk about next week's shows and what's happening in them. And that will be available to listen to on Ko-Fi and Patreon. And if I can get my act together, on the YouTube, starting from this weekend. So for $2 a month, you get access to both shows, plus that ever popular name mentioned in the closing credits of each and every episode. And that's a sales pitch.
Again, thank you, Tom.
I'm very excited about this because I've been thinking about doing the spoiler alert thing for a while, because you come across the spoilers when you're doing
Corrie
Corrie
News.
News, and I don't really go looking for them, but sometimes you see them.
Right, yes. Sometimes it's right there on Instagram in black and white.
And this will allow us to address that
Yes.
and put together a show to say thank you to our friends of the podcast
Yes.
for their support
Yes.
over the last few weeks, months and years. It's I think it's important that we give something a little more valuable than just names getting read out.
Right.
Although that is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. When your name gets read out, you're essentially a co-producer.
An
of the show.
executive producer, I would say.
I think it's the $5 level where they become executives.
We do have a $5 level if you're interested. But anyway,
Anyway,
enough of that murky business.
yes.
Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that fiscal Corrie news.
Lily has a new face.
She does.
Lily has a new face. Grace Ashcroft Gardner takes over for Brooke Maloney, who has played the character for 9 years.
Wow.
And now
Since she was a very little girl, probably.
gets a break. Yeah, which is, because there were 2 bebes playing her in
Of
the
course.
beginning. And then there were 2 more bebes who played her after those bebes. And then it was Brooke for the longest time.
I liked the old Lily.
I did too. She was smart. She was sassy. She played soccer. What more could you want from a girl?
She did. She had a bit of sass about her.
She did.
And she also looked like she just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I liked that.
Yeah.
I like the kids who are just, oh, Jesus Christ. You know, a mutterance under her breath never seemed that far away.
And she looked like she could be Jack P. Shepard's kid.
She did.
Yeah.
However, we welcome the new Lily.
Yes.
And look forward to seeing her. I guess they're going to be doing Lily-centric storylines now. That's usually why they change the actor.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. But I just wish that they had introduced her a little bit better than they did this week. More on that later.
It was a fucking mess, and we will get to that.
Yes. Of course, this whole week was a fucking mess, so we will get to it, except for Sally. Speaking of Sally, Sally Divener took a well-deserved holiday to Ibiza with her daughter Hattie and partner Tim. Hattie is one of the stars of Waterloo Road.
Yes.
She is. So she is an actor just like her mother and her big sister Phoebe.
I saw a trailer for Hattie, and I saw the name, and I thought, that must be another Divener girl.
Yes.
And sure enough,
It was.
it's good that she's got the girls in real life as well,
Right,
isn't it?
yes, the girls.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the girls in real life, which is fun.
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
Roadkill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
That's Oak Hill.
That's okay. And finally, Trevor Michael Georges, who plays Ed in Corrie, is godfather to pop star Freya. Did you know this?
I don't know who Freya is.
She's a pop star.
She's what?
She's a pop star.
Well done, Freya.
And also, she is the daughter of Richard Redding, who is the voice of Daddy Pig on Peppa Pig. So, Ed from Coronation Street knows Daddy Pig well enough for him to be Daddy Pig's daughter's godfather.
I've never been so impressed about things I know nothing about.
It's such a small island. And that's Corrie News.
Any fucking excuse. And that Corrie News brings us on to our feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Wendy writes in, BritBox is all screwy this week.
They fixed it now.
Finally.
Yeah.
I had to write a stern tweet to them. And they responded. They never usually respond.
Oh, that's good.
But they said, we're working on it. Now leave me alone. I can't believe I had to go through Prime and pretend I want a 7-day free trial of BritBox to be able to watch the 2 episodes for Monday and Wednesday.
It's on YouTube.
That parrot on Mick's shoulder is doing a hell of a job filming him walking around the cobbles. Yes, we'll get to that as well. It is on the YouTube now. Now, for viewers not in the UK, you will still need to watch it with a VPN. But it typically appears the next day through other means.
Ha ha.
And then Cheeky writes a long email here, and I'm going to read the lot because I think this is an important viewpoint that maybe doesn't always jive with our own. And
Okay.
it's always good to hear someone enjoying something on the show.
Yes.
Doesn't happen all that often.
No.
Cheeky writes, I've been watching Coronation Street for decades, and I don't say this lightly. Monday and Wednesday of this week broke something in me, and at this point, I think Cheeky didn't like this. I've seen dramatic arcs before, but what we just witnessed with Mick, Joni, Shanice, Sally and Brody was beyond a storyline. It was suffocating. At this point, I'm still not sure. Monday's siege inside the factory felt like a nightmare you can't wake up from. Mick wasn't calmly holed up somewhere. He was hunting, tearing through that building like a man possessed. Every time he yelled Joni's name, it felt like a knife to the chest. You could feel the fury vibrating off him, the way he slammed through doors, eyes wide with that terrifying mix of rage and obsession. This wasn't a father gently trying to reunite his family. This was a man on the edge of total collapse. I was actually tense in my own living room, gripping the sofa arm because it felt that real. And then Sally stepped in, and that speech she gave Mick, I've replayed it 3 times already. Sally Divener didn't just deliver the lines, she obliterated me. Her voice cracked just enough to tell you she was holding herself together, yet her words landed like hammers. If you love them, you stop now, you turn yourself in, because that is the only chance left to give those girls a life better than yours. Watching Mick's face crumble under that truth was brutal. He knew in that instant that he destroyed everything he ever claimed to love. And then she turned to Joni. Oh God, that moment. Sally's voice softened, but resolve sharpened. I will be the best foster parent you could possibly have while your mum and dad serve their time. And that look on Joni's face, a flicker of hope in the middle of hell, was enough to bring me to tears. That wasn't just a good scene, that was Corrie at its absolute best, making you feel every ounce of heartbreak as if it were happening in your own family. I thought I'd recovered by midweek, and I hadn't. Wednesday's phone call between Mick and Brody was a masterclass in quiet devastation. After all the chaos, after trying to piece together some impossible plan to reunite himself, Lou, Joni and Shanice, Mick finally did the one thing that broke him completely. He disowned Brody. Not out of cruelty, but because he believed it was the only way to save him. You could hear the defeat in Mick's voice, each word tearing him apart as he said Brody deserved better because he wasn't even his son, but Kit's. And Brody, that silence, those choked breaths on the other end, it felt like we were intruding on a private heartbreak, so raw it almost didn't feel like acting anymore. Thank you for giving us a place to spill all this out. I cannot wait to hear what you make of Sally Diviner's performance, that factory hunt and that phone call. This wasn't just soap drama, this was television that leaves scars. Thank you very much, Cheeky, for a very eloquent email.
Yes.
I can't agree with all of it.
No.
I agree with lots of it.
Yeah.
And there are things that happen on Monday that I think spoil the better parts of Monday.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And if those down parts hadn't been there, I think the whole thing would have been elevated. But we will get into that.
Yeah.
And then-
I was a little emotional during the scenes in the school.
Yes.
And of course, we will get to Sally's speech, which was excellent. But yeah, when it starts off the way that it did, it kind of spoils the whole thing a little.
It gives it a tough field to furrow to recover from that.
Correct.
For me. And if you enjoyed that, I love the fact that you enjoyed that. That makes me happy.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and Caroline writes, yesterday the postman delivered a belated but totally awesome birthday gift from friends all the way from beautiful Edinburgh. It was a road plaque or a house plaque that said Coronation Street. It was very nice.
Oh, that's nice.
I think you'll agree that it will add thousands, not only to our house price, but to the whole street.
Yes.
I'm just about to watch Friday's episode and hop on Twitter to vote on the week and sit here staring at my Coronation Street teapot until your podcast drops.
Nice.
I hope you had a fab week and avoided any prison break madmen. I, for one, will be glad to see the back of them. Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you as well to Cheeky and to Wendy for writing in this week. We very much appreciate it. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at the talkofthestreet@gmail.com or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interest of brevity. And I haven't checked our PO Box this week because I'm a bad person.
You're a good person.
I wasn't fishing for that at all. And now we'll podcast for coffee. We're buying our own coffees this week. Now, you got a jarrito,
Mexican soda.
a Mexican soda. This is strawberry flavoured and it's very nice.
Yes.
It's super sweet.
It is. Because it's real cane sugar, I
No
believe.
kidding. You'll be scraping me off the ceiling in a little bit. But it's nice, and I've also got some backup soda stream.
Yes.
Getting busy with the fizzy.
Getting busy with the fizzy. Yes, because I got Cancun for dinner for us tonight.
A little change.
A little treat. Mm-hmm. We do love the Cancun.
All right, so I've got a new spiel here.
Oh.
Listen out for the changes. There's only a couple. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street. And if one show isn't enough for you, you can also sign up to be a friend of the podcast through the same link, where for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to our weekly spoiler episode and our monthly review of a classic Corrie episode. All that plus a mention in the closing credits of each and every episode.
Yes.
And if Ko-Fi isn't your thing, we also have a Patreon site where you can show us some love. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast there for the same benefits at patreon.com/the talk of the street. And I might even figure out how to do this on YouTube. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline is basically Monday. What happened on Monday?
Ugh.
That I'm calling Prison Reality Break. Or Prison Break, the stupid season.
Yes.
On Monday?
Mindy.
On Monday.
And Mindy.
Get your ass if me mutica. On Monday, Mick's off to work in the prison laundry. Not a bad perk for a guy on remand for murdering a copper, but this seems to be a ruse of some nature, maybe.
Right, and it also opens his pores.
This is the start of where I have a bit of a problem with it. Because I don't see at all how Mick, on remand for murdering a copper, would be given any special privileges. And you could say that means that he's getting treated unfairly, but yeah, he is probably getting treated unfairly because he's on remand for
Killing a cop.
for killing a copper.
He's a cop killer.
So the fact that they're going to let him work in a prison laundry just seems...
I can't imagine working in a prison laundry is all that fun. Because that's a lot of linen from a lot of grody dudes.
Now, if you've ever seen Prisoner Cell Block H, Helen, you'll know that working in the laundry is the best perk. And whoever runs the press, they're top dog / top pitch.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, right enough, the prison laundry van, I don't know, unfastens Mick from its undercarriage and drops them off on the street. It's very weird. We don't see the actual prison break.
Right, yes. We see a truck. The truck driver stops and throws a bag out the window. And then we see Mick underneath the truck. Not holding on to the truck. Not like smushed by the truck. Just under it. So it's like, what? Has he been crawling underneath the truck as it dries out?
Or is he
Fred Flintstone?
Is he Jason Bourne? Or is he a sentient sock?
Yes.
He's a sentient sock.
He is a sentient sock.
That's going in the blog. Meanwhile, Tim and Sally are having a crisis of confidence, thinking that they might be ill-equipped to deal with kids who have two parents in the clink. Brody shows up looking to take the girls for the day, but Joni has plans. She's got a taster day at Weddy High.
Well, nice.
The English school's not broken up yet. And they aren't. The Scottish schools are.
Yeah.
English, not
And
quite
see-
yet.
And so, yeah, she's going to get a taste of the school, and yet she's not given a kid to shadow when she gets to the school, which is weird. She's just sent in there all by herself with nobody to guide her around and
Yeah,
teach
a
her
week
the
before
ropes.
the end of school.
Yeah.
And what school did she go to beforehand? Because while Mick and Lou were new to those particular streets, I kind of got the impression that they weren't necessarily new to Weatherfield.
And also they've lived there for months now. Those kids should have been in school. Were they driving them to their old school? Back in the, shady part of town where they came from?
Right.
What is going on here?
Brody seems very agitated about this, while Sally gives Joni a pair of Rosie's old shoes, seen as hers were fucked. Brody secretly phones Mick to let him know that Joni's not with him and will be at school instead, so Brody is about to get on the run with Shanice when he bumps into Bernie, who's having none of it, and not believing that Shanice is sick. She drags the two of them round to Kit's house because she's an interfering bag, but she does give Kit the tip that Brody looked like he was about to do a runner.
Right, yes. He's carrying a lot of luggage for taking Shanice to school.
And then we got our first little sight of the new Lily, where
But,
when we're watching it, it's Ruby, Sam, Jake, and some random.
yes, some
Sitting on a
random
bus.
girl just sitting there talking to them. So it's like, oh, it's somebody's friend.
Sitting at the bus stop, and all the chat is about Joni's parents being utter shitbags, and they reckon they can dare Hope to quiz Joni about it. So at the school, right enough, Hope quizzes Joni about her mum trying to kill Jake's dad. Joni thinks it's a stitch-up. Sam doesn't approve of the subjudice, And Hope thinks Joni's folks are after all the gingers and it'll be Chesney next. That was hilarious.
That was
Because that's what everyone's thinking.
Right, yes, because they got Craig, they got Gary. Who's next? And let's remember, this whole thing started with a beef with Chesney. So if anything, Chesney should have been the first to go.
So Mick gets Craig. Lou gets Gary. Joni would get Chesney. And then Shanice, she'd kill Fizz.
I think Brody would get Chesney.
Oh, Brody would get Chesney, yeah. You're quite right.
And then the two girls, I guess, would have to take down
Gang
Fizz.
up to take up Fizz, yeah.
And then there'd be no more gingers on the street.
Everyone's forgotten about how this whole thing started with the most boring storyline in the world.
Right, yes,
Of
with Chesney
having a
putting
beef.
sugar in a van.
It didn't even start with that. It started with Chesney being cut off by an asshole in a van.
Right.
And then Mick found out about it and was like,
Oh, yeah, this
Chesney's
is going to
fucked here.
be a funny storyline where Chesney gets fucked. And then that didn't happen. Then it just went away.
Like there was a sudden change of plan.
Right. Like they were suddenly like, oh, this isn't working. So we're just going to quietly shelf this and kill off Craig instead.
Coulson, come in for a meeting. Joni is so upset, Sally has to pick her up from school and bring her to the factory where Izzy puts her to work on the bobbins.
Which was very nice. Which was,
Izzy was lovely.
It was very nice how all the mums kind of gave each other the eye and, around the circle. And then Izzy says, hey, can you do this? Even though your mom just clocked my son's father in the head and put him in a coma.
Yep. Yep. Well done. PC Jess seems to be in charge of Lou and the women's prison thing. Who is well aware of her rights of being held for more than 24 hours, but it seems that Jess has organised for Brief to turn up soon. So later, Jess is about to take Lou away to meet her Brief, but she gets a call about Mick escaping from prison somehow and promptly locks Lou back up. Then Daniel turns up for a job interview at Weather High, and Crawshaw makes it clear that he could probably take a shit on their desk right now and they'd still hire him because they're that short-staffed.
Right, yes. And also, let's make out.
Yeah, we should kiss now. Oh dear. And
You really
Daniel's
want this
phone
job?
goes off in the interview and he has to...
Tongue. If you really want the job. Tongue.
Oh, that's an indecent proposal. So this is us moving all the chess pieces into place. Chess is maybe a stretch. This is us moving characters into scenarios and stuff. So we've got Daniel at the school for whatever reason to be annoying later on. So Mick turns up at the school and just wanders down the corridor like he's Jason Voorhees. But the camera is kind of fixed behind his shoulder like he's
Right, so you can...
Grand Theft Auto character.
Yeah, and also it goes a little fuzzy and there's like a tinnitus little whine in the background.
Which I always find pleasant because I don't know if that's in my head, as it always is, or on the TV. And if sometimes it's the same frequency and it's very difficult to tell.
Right, yeah. And kids scatter. Kids scatter.
The kids see him and Scarper with Sam particularly shitting himself. That rando from earlier runs into a room and locks the door.
Which is what you're supposed to do.
Locking Sam out and ignoring his desperate pleas to be let in. Lily, let me in, he shouts. And I'm like, why is Sam calling that wee lassie Lily? But Mick isn't interested in killing Sam today.
Not today.
He's looking for Joni. So he heads for Crawshaw's office and Crawshaw explains that Joni went home, but Mick doesn't believe it.
Look, I'll show you the email on my computer.
So they go into the office so Crawshaw can show him the email. And learns that Joni is in Sally's custody. And then Daniel he's trying to text, I don't know who he's trying to text, somebody.
You can...
But he does it so obviously.
You can text 911 and 999 now.
Do you think he's doing that?
I would hope so.
So Mick catches him trying to phone or text somebody, and he breaks Daniel's phone and tears Crawshaw's phone out of the wall, and he hates these phones.
Right. And this laptop too for some reason.
Before locking the two of them in the office, with Hope being the one to let them out quite some time later.
Yes. And Hope says, "Don't let anybody know that I did this for you people."
Meanwhile, the Knicker people are heading out to the Rovers' Monday afternoon quiz, while Sally gives Joni a tour of the factory. Mick's back on the street. Those teleporting powers are working. And he tries to break into Sally's, but with no luck. And then he overhears the Knicker people talking about Sally and Joni being still at the factory.
Yes, he has such good hearing. He can clearly hear them as they are across the street, talking to one another in a normal tone of voice.
Oh no, I
thought
they were deliberately talking louder than normal, especially Sean.
Yeah, but would they be talking louder than normal in real life is what I'm asking you.
No. So despite not working at the factory, Mick goes into the factory to get his daughter, and this is seen by Tim. Meanwhile at Kit's, he's annoyed that Bernie has brought Brody and Shanice round, but then he gets a call from Jess, and all the baggage and hurry from Brody makes sense now. Kit asks where they were meeting Mick about, what was the plan, and Brody gulps. At the factory, Mick takes Sarah hostage now and breaks her phone too. The man despises technology.
And seems to be choking her. And unfortunately, she's not wearing her leather skirt.
Tim comes in and tries to explain that Joni's at school. And Sally overhears this from round the corner and quickly ushers herself and Joni up to the roof, which I thought would take quite a bit of doing from Sally to go back up onto the roof again.
And she is nervous. She does talk about the roof collapse.
That time she fell through the roof.
Yes. No
mention of Rana, though. No.
Somebody died. That's all you had to say.
Right.
Somebody died. No.
Sally tells the kids that everything's fine while a dog enjoys a coffee in a burning house. Kit goes to the Rovers to find out where Sally and Joni are, and after getting tipped off by Kirk, he sees Sally on the roof and calls it in. Meanwhile, Sarah and Tim are locked in Carla's office because if there's one thing about Mick, he's going to break your phone. And if there's another thing about Mick, he's going to lock you in an office.
Yeah.
Mick wanders around shouting on Joni, and then Kit comes in. On the roof, Sally and Joni chat about Rosie, owner of the shoes, and Sally admits that she misses her girls and they don't call her as often as she'd like. And that's why it's so nice having Joni and Shanice in her life. And this helps Joni open up, and she admits how scared she is of Mick and how glad she was that he was in prison. She just wants her mum. And Sally promises to look after her. And that was lovely.
It was lovely.
Just absolutely beautifully done.
Yes.
Sally never admits this.
No.
And Sally will never admit this.
No.
Of how devastatingly disappointed she is that Rosie and Sophie don't call her nearly as much as she would like. Isn't that heartbreaking?
They have their own lives.
Yeah, but still.
Is this you?
And I bet you when they phone, it's as quick as they can get off the phone.
Yeah.
It's just a quick call just to say that we're still alive.
Yeah.
How are you, Mum? You still alive? Okay, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah. All of which can be done in a text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was lovely. And I thought Joni admitting to being scared of Mick was huge as well, because you're never quite sure if they were aware of what was going on and how dangerous Mick was. But here she is admitting it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew because remember when Shanice got scared because Sally was mad at Tim about his undercrackers on the floor of the bathroom? Mm-hmm. Yes.
You notice anything different about your setup this week?
No.
Your microphone isn't bolted onto this table anymore.
Oh, it's on this table.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Which means that you can laugh without sugaring the mics. Because that was happening an enormous amount last week. There you go. Laughing and there's no sugaring noise. Sorry for fans of the sugaring noise.
Yes. Which includes me.
Meanwhile, Kit tries to talk Mick down, but then decides it's best to antagonise him about how shit a daddy is. Mick hears a commotion on the roof and he and Kit struggle, but Mick knees Kit in the newts and then kicks his shins. What a rotter. And makes a run for it. On the street, Daniel stops an escaping Brody and Shanice, and a dozen passports fall out of Brody's pocket. What's all this then? Daniel tells him that this is his dad's mess, not his, and he should stay out of it. Bernie offers Brody to stay with her. Kit gives chase, but as they scuffle on the gantry near where sinkhole Leo fell to his death, Mick produces a shank or a screwdriver or a letter opener or something from somewhere.
Or a knife.
From his pocket. I don't think it was a knife. And he stabs Kit in the guts. And as Kit bleeds out in the gantry...
It's not a knife.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Get your ass off me musica. Mick climbs up onto the roof. Sally promises to protect Joni and grabs a pipe. And she wields it at Mick and tells him that Joni has seen enough pain and reminds him that he's covered in somebody else's blood right now. And how must that look to a wee girl? She points out that the factory is surrounded by the filth and it's going nowhere. And he's going to subject his wee lassie to that. These girls deserve better than this. So Mick renders this entire episode pointless, apart from the bit where Kit got stabbed, when Joni begs Mick not to hurt Sally, and Mick decides to give himself up. Sally promises to take care of the girls. Back at the Nick, Lou's about to be released on bail, but with Mick's rearrest, this makes her a flight risk, and she's remanded in custody until her trial. Somehow, Brody gets away with all of this.
Yeah, because nobody tells the police that Brody was involved.
And has 1 million passports. At hospital, Kit is in bad shape and is taken to resus.
Dum dum dum.
And we'll take a pause there on that storyline. We kind of branch off into multiple storylines after that. And let's just reflect a little bit on Monday and the prison break.
Which is stupid.
Which was stupid.
So stupid.
I think it was Jonathan Harvey, writer extraordinaire of Coronation Street, who tweeted that it was time for this quarter's prison break on Coronation Street, which I thought was quite funny that a writer was basically dissing the show a little bit. And rightfully so, because it was only February when Rob escaped prison.
Right.
And think of the lengths that Rob went to get out of prison. He lost a kidney.
Right. He, not only did he lose a kidney, but he had to have sex with a guard multiple times, enough to get her pregnant.
Right.
You know, it was a very long, thought-out process, and we got to see the whole thing. This time, Mick all of a sudden is under a truck. How did he get there? Was there no one else in that laundry? Was there nobody else working in the laundry?
Who was in on this? Was the laundry driver in on it?
Well,
I kind of got the impression maybe not.
No, because he was, because he threw his bag out with his clothes.
Was that what he was throwing out?
Yes.
I thought he was just throwing laundry at somebody. Here's your laundry kind of
Asshole.
thing. Right?
Wait,
That was exactly the line. Here's your laundry, asshole.
Right, yeah, it's Mick's laundry. Why would he be throwing out prison laundry on the street?
I have no idea, but I wasn't sure about anything
Also,
that was happening.
Where was this? Like, how far away did Mick have to crawl under that truck until they stopped far enough away for any of this to happen? Or hold on to a very hot piece of equipment under that truck?
So you think that the truck was driving off at crawling speed?
Either that or Mick can crawl really fast. He's that girl from that movie with the TV.
That girl from the movie.
Not
with the
Poltergeist,
TV.
the other horror movie with the girl in the TV. The curse?
The Ring?
Yes!
Or Ringu?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I knew we'd get there.
Wow.
Not Poltergeist, the other one with the TV.
Because there's only 2 movies that have a TV in them. There's Poltergeist and there's Ring.
With a girl that is a horror movie. Those are the only 2. We're done. We're done with that.
So
That's it.
So Mick's got to be holding on to something underneath that van as it goes over speed bump after speed bump.
Right.
and
Yeah. There's
runs over a multitude of hedgehogs and...
There's not nearly enough room under that truck for that to have happened. which I think is why we don't see that happen. We just see him under a truck for some reason. And we're left to our own devices, our own humorous devices, to figure out how he got there.
So the producers are thinking, how do we possibly explain this? And then they decide, we can't, so we'll just skip it.
You know what they
Nobody
could
will
have done?
notice, they say. Nobody will notice.
He could have been hiding inside the back of the truck with the laundry. Why not do that? And see the guy throw the bag of his clothes out and then see Mick, lifting the back of the truck slowly and slipping out. And then
But not like that.
And then hitting the back of the truck to let the guy know he can drive off.
Okay, Governor.
Thanks. Thanks for the lift, pal.
I genuinely thought that the guy was delivering laundry. I think that's exactly what I thought was going on there. But
Delivering laundry to whom?
To people who need clean clothes.
Who wants prison laundry? It's the prison laundry truck.
But people maybe send their laundry to the prison to get washed
No.
well. Maybe they do a really good job.
It's where they make license plates. It's at the prison.
So all of this, I think, was one of the reasons why I had such an issue with the rest of what happened. Because because the premise of it is on such shaky ground.
Yes.
That you just find it hard to go along with the rest of it. And like I said, if you had no issue with that, that's great, and I'm really pleased. But for me, it's just all I'm doing, as we're watching the rest of that episode, is thinking this would never happen.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
And why? Why? Just to firmly place Jody and Shanice with Sally and Tim? Isn't it funny that Sally Diviner's real partner is named Tim?
and her real name is Sally.
And her real name is Sally. Anyway, back to Coronation Street.
I think the scenes in the school, I saw quite a few complaints about the way that they were shot, but I thought that was effective. And it introduced a really interesting nugget that we'll talk about later. And I thought the stuff on the roof was fantastic. So there was a lot of good in the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
That I think in isolation worked really, really well and was super effective.
Yeah.
Mostly, I have to say, thanks to Sally.
Yeah.
But I guess the main issue is the introduction of Mick was 5 months ago.
Yes.
And he spent a month in prison. So we've only really known Mick for 4 months.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to know what sort of character we're because we know that he's a bit of a psycho, but we kind of thought as well that he was a family man, but not so much of a family man that he can't beat up his wife.
Right, yes.
And
in front of his kids.
In Coronation Street of yore, this is a sort of Charlie Stubbs character. And I think Charlie was a character that was built up over years, really. And that's why they become sort of three-dimensional and stuff. A lot of Mick was a bit of a caricature. I thought he was played very well. I thought Joe Layton was extremely believable, and it was hilarious listening to him out of character because he's nothing like Mick, which always surprises me, and I know that that's stupid because this is what actors do. But I don't think they've given the character enough to last in the memory.
No. Yeah, it hasn't really been nearly long enough. And again, they've left because he's done. He's done.
He's done now. We have some scenes on Wednesday, but that's it.
Yeah, he's off the show now. So, yeah, there are plot holes and things that will never get resolved. Much like the roof collapsing, there were aspects that never got resolved because Gary's in hospital and not in prison. But I'm sure he'd be out by now. But anyway, like the whole Chesney thing, started with, oh, these people know that Chesney and Gemma, they were Chesney's the one who put sugar in his tank. oh, I'm going to have fun with this guy and we're going to get our revenge on this guy. And then that didn't really happen. Mick stole some beers from Chesney.
The worst thing that Mick
it.
did to Chesney was keep on turning up at his door with beer to get drunk with him.
Yeah,
Insisting of his company on to Chesney. That was the worst thing that he did.
absolutely.
All right, well, we'll talk about the aftermath and a few other storylines. Let's start with Kit's trauma. On Wednesday's episode starts with a hugely disorganised scene of Sarah and David seemingly ad-libbing conversation about Kit. And then we see Kit still in hospital. He's a sleepy wee Hector, but he looks fine.
He was stabbed. He deserves a rest.
Yeah. Bernie decides to voice the opinion that it's Brody and the girls that she's worried about. And even more worried when no one seems to know where Brody is. So she leaves her son's hospital bedside to search the streets to find out. Meanwhile, Sarah is huffing on Kit's oxters for so long that eventually it wakes him up.
And she passes out.
It's like, what is she doing?
She's sleeping. She's taking a wee nap.
That's what she's doing?
Yes.
With her head in his underarm?
Yeah, she's like cuddling. She's cuddling him. Don't pretend that you've never had your head in anybody's underarm before, sir.
Not while they've been asleep in the hospital bed, I haven't.
Not yet. Give it time.
He seems to be doing away fine until he starts coughing up jam, which Sarah takes to be a bad sign and reports it to the nurses. Brody goes to Tim's with his plan of getting a place for him and his sisters. Tim welcomes him into his home, makes him something to eat, but then he gets a call from, and this is Brody, but then he gets a call from Mick, who already has managed to get his mitts on a new bum phone. Brody explains that he has a plan to move closer to the prison to visit, but Mick could not give a fuck and tells Brody that he's disgusted with him and he's not his dad and Brody is nothing to him and tells him to stay the fuck away. And he makes it sound like he's doing this to repel Brody.
Yes.
But on his face you can see that it's hurting him to say this.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Kit is in the theatre, Hamilton is touring, and Bernie half expresses that she's already lost one son.
She doesn't want to lose
Can't
another.
lose another. Out at theatre, the operation went well, but it's left Sarah feeling exposed again, given that she nearly lost someone that she loved before. Bernie sits with Kit once he wakes up, and talk obviously goes to Brody. Kit spells it out in no uncertain terms that Brody's not his kid, he's not Brody's dad, and the sooner that Brody realises this, the better. And of course, Brody inexplicably has turned up to the hospital to hear this, and he storms out with Bernie giving chase.
Because he's sad. He's sad because his dad says that he disgusts him, so he has to go to Dad 2.0.
Outside, Bernie apologises for Kit, saying that he didn't mean it, and he's just out of surgery. Brody explains his call with Mick and pretends he doesn't care about any of them, and then he cries on Bernie's shoulder. If I didn't hate Brody quite as much, I thought that would have been quite moving as well.
Yeah. They need to do a little bit more with Brody before we sympathise with him.
After she and Brody go back to see Kit, and Kit says he can't deal with this right now, so Brody storms off for the second time in as many minutes. Kit tells Bernie that this isn't fair, and she can't treat Brody like the new Paul, and he tells her to stop making this about her, which I thought was fair enough.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it's fair enough.
Yeah, because she did say that Brody reminds her of Paul. That's probably a good shout by Kit.
And she's continually giving Brody the benefit of the doubt, trying to mould him into this.
Yeah.
And trying to mould this relationship to be like the relationship she had with Paul.
Yes. And it's not working.
On Friday, Sarah's having a good old sniff of Kit's underarms again and gives him a hard time for what he said to Bernie and Brody. She sees things from Bernie's point of view and suggests that Kit has a think about it, and then she sniffs his privates. Bernie comes in later and doesn't sniff anything, and Kit apologises for everything he said yesterday, which was a shame because a lot of it was true. He tells her how important she is to him, and they make up.
Which is nice.
Which surprised me again, though. Kit's always been fairly standoffish with Bernie.
He hasn't really been standoffish with her for a while now, though. It
But I
seems
don't
like
know
it
what
was slowly.
changed to make that happen.
Paul dying?
Do you think?
I think that was the start, and then, they've been slowly evolving since then, because that was months ago.
I watched the two of them together, and I thought that it costs Kit nothing to hurt Bernie, to hurt her feelings. It doesn't matter to Kit at all to do that.
It also costs nothing to be kind.
But it seems that it does cost him something. It does worry him. Because it would take more than Sarah insisting that he apologises to make him apologise.
Seriously, she wasn't even wearing that skirt.
No.
She was sniffing the oxters.
Sarah comes in later and Kit confesses that he heard Sarah say that she was falling for him yesterday while he looked like he was out for the count and she was huffing on his underarms. And he says that he's fallen for her too.
Aww.
And that's pretty much as far as we get with that this week.
Tall man, short lady.
Yep. They're the typical odd couple.
Are they, though?
No. No, not at all. I think you're right about Brody, though. These are scenes that are meant to, and maybe they do touch us. Maybe they touch us, not us. Maybe the greater us. Maybe the greater viewership. Maybe the greater viewership is emotionally changed by these scenes. But it's just such a wrong and
Yeah.
a nasty bit of work.
Mason is barely dead in the ground. Do we really need to fob off another bad boy on the street
Yeah.
this quickly?
Yeah. Couldn't Mason have done this?
Right, yeah. Couldn't we have just kept Mason alive and then find out that Mick and Lou were his parents? Because we never met Mason's parents, remember?
We met his brothers,
Yes.
Ant and Dec.
Yes, but not his parents. And we were supposed to get parents. We never did. Yeah, and then there was ITV Corrie before then. There's always a bad boy that something happens and then they just have to put another bad boy in because plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't have Aadi doing these things.
They never tried to redeem ITV Corrie because he kicked Seb to death, so
Right, yes.
that's a difficult sell.
And also, did the whole revenge porn thing and posted Asha topless on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no coming back from that. I'm glad they didn't try.
Mason's redemption was almost effortless. It was done so well.
Yeah.
So they can do it.
And I mean, the whole thing with Racist Kelly, or Lauren as she is now known, is that it's more exhaustion than anything else. So we're just like, yes, fine.
Yep.
She's all right now.
Who do you think was the worst at their worst? Mason or Brody?
I think Mason was much worse because he had that knife.
It's that knife I keep going back to.
Brody has never attacked anybody with a weapon yet.
Yeah, that knife is a huge thing that makes his redemption all the more impressive.
Absolutely.
That we can get by that.
Yeah.
And I did hate Mason.
Yes. And then we stopped hating him
And
because
maybe-
the show did a good job.
And maybe more than Brody because we've not really known Brody for as long. I think it's Brody's swagger more than anything that I find.
And the fact that he can't wash his
disagreeable.
hair. And also because we know his parents and we hate one of them.
Yeah. And I think just dislike the other one. Lou's a terrible character, but played exceptionally well.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to Sam's trauma now. On Wednesday, Sarah and David are talking about how Lily is after the drama yesterday, and David's like, she's fine, but her head's different. In the bistro, though, Sam is far more introspective to the point that Nick, Toya, and Leanne are civil to each other.
Yes.
That was a turn up for the books.
Shocking.
They agreed with each other.
Yes.
Leanne offers to take Sam to the movies, but he says he'd rather get on with his schoolwork because Nick's kept him home after the incident yesterday.
Yes.
In Nina's roles, Nick sees Hope, who reveals what happened during the Mick incident, where Lily wouldn't let Sam into a classroom, and then safety. Nick is worried about this and talks to Toya, who recommends being calm and speaking to Sam. Nick, though, decides to speak to David instead.
Yeah.
And at the salon, David didn't know anything about this. Is sure that Lily was just freaked out and it was nothing deliberate, but promises to speak to her. When he does, She gets a bit of a snark on, wondering if it was up to her to take care of the evil killer, and there were plenty of places that Sam could have gone. She was too scared to think. Nick comes in later and David explains what Lily said, and Leanne is fucking furious when she learns what happened. When Toya and Sam come in, Sam's mortified that people now know about this, and so everyone leaves before they confront Lily about it. Lily is there supposedly listening to music and seems to be feeling guilty, but everyone thinks she can't hear what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Back at the bistro, Toya tries to give Lily the benefit of the doubt, and Nick wonders if it was a case of crossed wires, or maybe Lily at that age is turning into David at that age, who set fire to a lawn. Sam, though, is doom-scrolling the news about the incident and is shitting himself. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Now, you and I have both been through a lot of lockdown training and active shooter training.
I did mine for this year last month.
Yes. And then I also, in addition to that, when I worked in schools, not only had a lot of training as far as lockdowns were concerned, I was also involved in a number of lockdowns while working in a school. And then, you know, we had a lockdown at my actual job now a few weeks ago because there was an active shooter in the area. They tell you to hide and lock the door, barricade the door, and not to let anyone in until the police arrive and identify themselves as police. Lily did the right thing. Because Mick could be like right behind Sam, holding on to Sam right out of view. And if Lily opens the door, both Mick and Sam could come in and Mick could harm those kids. We know he's not going to harm those kids, but those kids don't know that.
They just know that he's a killer.
Right. Yeah. But it's just, it feels like this would be a good way to kind of introduce a teachable moment on what to do when somebody like that comes into your school. Now, I know the likelihood of an active shooter in the United Kingdom is slim to none. But I'm sure that there are drills for like knife incidents and things like that, as well as fire alarm, fire drills.
Honestly, I'd be surprised if there was. And I think that is the difference, because you're right, the official guidance on this is if you're locked in a room while there's an active shooter or situation similar going on, your priority is yourself and the people that are in that room with you.
Absolutely.
So you have to be exceptionally careful about unlocking that door.
Right.
And Lily's also right. There were other places to
Right. There
go.
were a number of other doors along that corridor.
But Lily hasn't been through these sort of training or CBTs or
that we
whatever.
know of.
I would be amazed if she was. So what she's acting on is instinct.
Right.
And I think instinct tells you to save your friend.
Instinct tells you to save yourself.
I think instinct tells you to save your friend, especially when you're family. I think what Lily did was right. But I think what the show is setting up in a country that doesn't have active shooter situations, and long may that continue to be the case, it's introducing an interesting moral quandary. It's not exactly the runaway tram thing.
No.
But it's an interesting point, because you've got two people, you've got two sides that you can make a good case for, or you can make a case for being right.
True.
And that's an interesting thing for the show to do. And it doesn't do things like this all that often.
No.
And the fact that it's the two kids that are really front and centre in it.
I hope though that it doesn't lead to real life children in a intruder situation in a school to not do what Lily did and put themselves in harm's way.
Right.
So they got to tread lightly here.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how far advice goes in schools. I know that I never got anything like this when I was at school.
Well, neither did I. I took a gun to school when I was in high school because
Quickly justify this.
I didn't take it to school.
Quickly.
My friend brought it to school for me because I needed it for our school's production of JB by Archibald MacLeish, where I played the communist.
Was there a Bobby phone line in it?
No.
That wasn't the play I did then.
So I needed a gun to play like a communist, rebel person. I had like grease paint on my face, and was wearing fatigues. Kind of looked like a feminine Che Guevara, minus the beard. But
Wonderful.
yeah,
So you
that's
so you had an active working
it wasn't
loaded gun.
It was not loaded, obviously. There were no bullets in it. But still, I had it like slung across my back the whole day at school. And nobody said anything.
Yeah, because you had a fucking gun.
Because it was the early 90s. We didn't have active shooters in schools yet. The way we do now, constantly.
Yeah, it's terrifying that we live in a country where the main cause of childhood death is
Guns.
through guns.
Yeah.
And things like active shooter CBTs at work have to be a thing.
Right, yes.
I tell you something, that's terrifying the first time you sit through that.
Yeah.
And you have to sit in your cube and think, what do I do and where do I go if someone comes in here with a gun? Which is not something that I'd ever given consideration to.
When I worked in a school, that training was done all together, and it involved listening to 911 calls from Columbine and watching footage from Columbine.
Why are you treating this like a one-upmanship type thing?
It's not. I'm just, it. When you sit and think about it for long enough, it's pretty shocking.
Oh,
and terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. I'm
Yeah.
amazed that I'm able to go across the door in the morning.
I know, me too. Anyway.
Very interested to see how this goes. This is intriguing. We'll move on to our next storyline. Sucks to be a Webster.
It really does.
On Wednesday, at the Rape Hotel, Debbie is disappointed to the point of extreme aggression when she finds out that Carla's gazumped her for number 6. Do you know what gazumped means?
It means that she's put in a higher bid.
Not just that.
Right, yes.
I think a bid has been accepted, but then the seller accepts a higher bid
Right,
after
yes.
a bid has been accepted.
Yes.
I'm not actually sure that that's the case of what's happened here. But anyway, Ronnie's like, holy fuck, chill, woman. Later, she complains to Ryan about this and that bloody cow, Carla. Ryan tells her that Carla's a shark when it comes to this sort of thing, and this puts a bit of fire in Debbie's belly. Sooner or later, Ronnie and Carla are amazed to learn that Debbie has offered $30,000 over the asking price because she wants that fucking house. Ronnie is looking like he's blaming on dementia, but she insists this is something she would do in good health, and no one would have batted an eyelid, so fuck y'all.
Yeah. Especially you, Ronnie.
On Friday, Carla's had enough of this number 6 pish, so she tells Alia that she and Swain will be pulling out.
But not like that.
But the conversation is interrupted when a masked robber bursts out of Dev's shop with Aadi shouting on them to stop. Swain is frozen to the spot.
Seriously.
Oh, was that the first Swain?
Yes. Well, we did have her earlier jogging arm in arm with Carla because that's how people jog.
Better late than never then.
Swain.
Back home when Carla quizzes Swain on this, Swain says, well, I wasn't on duty. The robber had a head start and she doesn't want to talk about it. In the meantime, Ronnie warns Debbie of starting a bidding war with Carla. Debbie just wants him to stop treating her like a child, but when she talks to Ryan about all this, Ryan tends to agree with Ronnie. In the street, she bumps into Carla, who also thinks the bid was ridiculous. Debbie dares Carla to gazump her and then runs away, literally runs away. When Carla goes home to tell Swain about this, Swain's in a world of her own and then starts to cry and becomes inconsolable before Carla realises and eventually comforts her. Swain normally runs towards danger, she says, but today she froze and now she's worried that she can't go back to the job.
And also because plot.
Yeah. Over baked beans and Worcestershire sauce, Carla tells Swain that she's her own worst enemy sometimes and she's a great copper. Swain somehow diverts this to corrupt Becky just to remind us all of that. But Carla puts an end to that and says that they'll get through this together. At the Rape Hotel, Kev pops in for a lager shandy and then gives Debbie a hard time about her offer on number 6 and doesn't know why she'd want it. She says she wants to live nearby, and he's appalled, telling her to look after herself first. That about does it for Debbie, and she withdraws her offer on number 6. Carla is thrilled when she hears this. Swain, not so much. Carla goes to the pub later and seems to give Debbie first refusal on her flat, which Debbie appreciates, and that's as far as we get with that this week.
Oof.
This was quite good fun, wasn't it?
It was.
I loved seeing Debbie drinking a macchiato as she's stretching.
Right, yes, it was hilarious. Not enough lines from what's his name, though.
Raphael.
Yes.
But
Who was not as sassy as he was last week.
he was a little sassy.
He was
a little sassy,
He had
but
a
Ronnie.
dash of sassy.
And I
dash of
appreciated that.
sass.
I didn't check to see if he was credited tonight, but
He better have been.
I will do that.
More Raphael.
He's so good.
He's so fun.
He just pairs so well with Debbie. The two of them
Yes.
together are excellent.
Everybody needs a gay.
But yet, Debbie with Ryan was good. It's good to see the two of them together and Ryan
Yes.
doing his job at the Rape Hotel and also
You know.
the personal trainer
yes.
stuff.
Yes. His scarves are looking a little light.
They're
aren't
getting
they?
better. They're definitely getting better.
They're getting better.
Do you think that they'll ever get rid of them?
It kind of feels like they already have.
It's
doesn't
looking
it?
like they're going to. When you see them from like the month or two after the incident, how
Yeah.
raw and
Right,
angry
and
they were.
it had that skin graft on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, it you can't see it, or you can barely
it's a little
see
bumpy.
it. You can see it in the light when he's outside, but you can't see it in the hotel. Not really.
And you know what? Fine. They had it for long enough.
I mean, we've already forgotten that one kid only has one leg, so
I remember being of the opinion that they were probably going to kill Ryan off rather than do the
Keep-
makeup.
putting the thing on his face. Yeah. Well, there's still time. Not that I want Ryan to be killed off. I don't. I like Ryan. I thought him and Alia in the pub
Yeah.
this week was hilarious. And good on the show for remembering that they dated once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were good together
They were good together.
until Daisy ruined it.
Yeah. Fuck her. That's the one thing that I can't forgive Daisy for.
Yeah, that's a very sorry episode. I also very much enjoyed Swain's breakdown. That was very believable, which kind of zoned out.
Yeah.
And Carla's just in the background talking as she's getting more and more upset. You said because of plot, you're not buying this?
Well, because of what we find out later about who that robber was. It kind of feels like if they had Swain, chase him down and catch him, that would ruin this other stupid storyline
The thing
that
with
they
it,
started.
with the scene of the robber running away is that you could tell just by the way he ran that it was Brody. It was. We're going to be talking about that a bit later.
I guess I wasn't really focusing too much on the running away.
Just the height and just the build and the way that he was running. It's like, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, well, that's Brody. Just like I would have been, well, that's Mason.
And they were absolutely right with the baked beans and Worcestershire sauce, because you put in a wee bit of Worcestershire sauce just for a bit of a zing,
A tang.
and it definitely delivers.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was a really well done scene, or just a bit of emotional breakdown. I thought they did that very well. And Vicky Myers is, as we know, very talented.
Yes.
You're still not sold on Swain and Carla, though.
No, I'm not sold on the new personality they gave to Swain after she became a regular person. I feel like she cries too much. We were introduced to Swain, who was strong and sassy and took no guff from anyone.
Right.
And she's become less and less that. as time goes
I think
by.
that's always going to happen when they make her regular.
Yeah. Oh well.
And you wonder if the regular characterization of Swain, and to a lesser extent Kit, happens just because of the fact that they've got a police set.
Yeah. Gotta
That
use
if
it
they
somehow.
didn't have a police set, I wonder if Swain would be regular, or just brought in whenever there was need, like she used to be.
And like Jess is now. Although Jess is slowly becoming more and more part of the show.
And I'm loving
I
that.
am not sad about that. I just want more Raphael.
PC Jess, I think, is
Becoming fairly regular.
And the scenes with Mick this week, I thought, or the scenes with Lou this week, I thought was great. She was, again, taking no piss off nobody. Yeah, very believable. All right, we'll move on to our penultimate storyline, Gary's trauma now.
Yes. Sucks to be beat up by a woman.
Maria goes to see Gary, and after pussyfooting around for a second, she demands to know what Gary's hiding. He admits that Lou kissed him at the flat that night, and he pushed her away. Maria is super pissed off because after that, Gary did a runner, blaming it on her. He explains that Lou was planning on making it look like an affair, but Maria's sick of this and storms out. So Gary discharges himself and goes to see her at the salon.
He was just in a coma. There's no way any hospital is going to let that person check himself out.
I'm not sure he'd be able to stand up.
No.
He's been in his bed for weeks.
Yes. It would take a lot of physical therapy to get him to even be able to walk across the hall, never mind back to his house.
Anyway, he goes to see Maria at works, and that fills in some time before she takes him back to the rose gold flat. He does a power of apologising and claims he was all set to tell Maria the truth until Lou twatted him over the head. Later, over dinner, Liam rips the piss out of Gary for getting beaten up by a woman, and Gary seems to take it in good humour, but later, he's acting all weird about it, starts talking about Rick the Chin, and Lou attacked him from behind and there was nothing he could do. He gets dizzy when he stands up, and then staggers off to bed, saying that people walk all over him now. And Maria's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
For fuck's sake. It is 2025. Are we really doing a storyline where a man feels like his manhood has been reduced because a woman put him in a coma? Really? Really? This is the story we're doing.
So it sounds
really?
Like, why do I suddenly feel like script writing guy? That's what it says. Right.
I'm already bored of Gary who feels like his manhood has been reduced by a woman putting him in a coma. At least she didn't cut off your penis. Like Lorena Bobbitt. Remember Lorena Bobbitt? Who cut her husband's penis off and then threw it out a window while she was driving away?
I don't like this conversation.
There are so many worse things women can do to you than just twat you over the head with a metal bar. Remember in the Bible where that one woman drilled a tent post through a man's head?
The fuck are you reading?
The Bible. You know?
Ban this filth.
Shut up. Oh, not you. Shut up. Just, is this really where we're going, Coronation Street? That Gary isn't strong enough in his manhood to be beat up by a woman?
See, I'm hoping that he's just
it's so stupid.
Mentally unstable now. That's what I'm hoping for.
That would actually be something that would happen when your brain gets scrambled like that with a metal bar. Is that your personality can change.
It happened to Nick.
Yeah.
They forgot about it a little bit, but
It's
it happened to
true.
Nick.
Yeah.
On Friday, Maria has made Gary a superfruit breakfast. That's superfruit, not a super fruit breakfast.
Yeah. But
he's a grumpy wee Hector about it, and he barks at Liam when Liam spills the bowl.
he drops his spoon. He doesn't even spill the bowl. He drops his spoon. It wasn't even Gary's spoon. It was Liam's spoon.
He quickly hears himself and apologises. At the salon, Maria tells David how worried she is about Gary, who is making himself an island. Gary Island. There's a list.
Gare Island.
She tells him that Gary seems to feel less of a man after getting twatted over the head by a blonde woman, and David understands.
Has
Meanwhile-
David been twatted over the head by a blonde woman?
I think he's got an imagination, though. Meanwhile, Kirk is at the Rose Gold flat, which is weird. Just seeing Kirk in somebody's house. Somebody's let Kirk in.
Right. Well, he's Maria's brother, so it's fine.
I know, but we never see him there. And he's playing pontoon with Gary. He leaves when Maria comes home. Gary's already feeling mollycoddled, and Maria's worried that he's bottling stuff up. He insists he's fine, and he can get over this, and he's going to do it on his own. But later it becomes
I'm
very...
going to get over this brain injury on my own, by my own power, by the power of positive thinking.
No,
with
by
my
the-
damaged brain.
the power of positive thinking and testosterone. But later...
And doing lots of chin-ups.
But why are you sounding like the baddie from an 80s comedy set at a ski resort for some reason?
That's what I was going for. Well done.
Ski Police
It's
with Helen Broom.
it's
Yeah, Cody.
it's that one Ben Stiller character who's a jerk.
It's every Ben Stiller character.
They're not all jerks.
I saw Billy Madison. Were you in the room when Billy Madison was on over the...
At my mum's house?
Yeah. what a
Yeah.
dreadful movie.
Lance put it on.
And then left.
And then left. Our nephew hates us.
What the hell is this? It's awful. Anyway, later Gary becomes very frustrated when he sees Maria vogling PTSD, and so he fucks off to the pub, where he's joined by David, Theo, and Theo's arms.
What? When did David and Theo become friends?
How do they know each other?
How do they know each other? And then David's like, oh, Gary, do you know Theo?
Because I don't.
He's Todd's partner. Because, I'm friends with Todd and Theo now because I'm David. And because I was working today.
Look at these arms. This guy's a scaffolder. Gary aggressively buys another round despite David's concerns. And then Gary's getting very, you had too many cut and blow dries today, which is a bit sexist and awful.
And homophobic.
Yeah. He gets absolutely leathered when Maria comes in to drag him home, and this demasculization just puts Gary in a wash mood.
Like, oh, you had to drag me home like you were my mom.
Thank you, Ben Stiller. He announces that Maria and him haven't been right for a while, which is news to her and us.
That.
He fucks off to bed before she can get to the bottom of it, and that's as far as we get with that this week.
Where he promptly dies from his head injury that he's just exacerbated by putting lots of alcohol in his body.
Yeah. Alcohol's not great for that.
No, it's not great for a lot of things, but it's especially not great for that when he should still be in the hospital and unable to walk properly because he hasn't been through any physical therapy and has been in a bed for weeks, in a coma, and had a brain bleed. They opened up his head.
A couple of times.
Yeah. And he's just walking around the streets like nothing ever happened. What the heck, man?
I do hope it is mental instability rather than just the thought of being knocked unconscious and into a coma by
A woman.
a blonde woman. It feels to me like it's more the mental thing. But at the moment, it's manifesting itself as the
Right, yeah,
the woman thing.
because then he's like very self-conscious about Maria being a woman and helping him out. What, do you think it would be less gay to be married to a man who helps you out, Gary? Is that what you're saying here? Because what you're saying is not making sense, pal. And also, it was just a spoon. It wasn't even your spoon. Chill out. It's just a spoon.
And it starts with a spoon.
Why a spoon, cousin? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not ever see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
I did not. I did see Robin Hood Men in Tights, though.
Oh, I have seen that as well, where it makes
There
fun.
was different spoons in that.
It was making fun of Robin Hood Men in Tights. In Robin Hood Men in Tights, what's his name? Alan Rickman
Please.
character is the sheriff of Nottingham, and he says he's going to carve out Robin Hood's heart with a spoon, and his cousin says, "Why a spoon, cousin?" And he says, because it's dull and it'll hurt more, you twit. I can remember this.
You can't remember how to drive to work. The brain is a funny thing.
The brain is a funny
The brain
thing.
is a funny thing. So there is a lot of, I think I'm going to say the closest that we get to excitement on Twitter about Gary returning to being a kind of villain / anti-hero.
Did he ever stop being an anti-hero?
Yeah, he did.
Not really.
He lost his edge when Maria was the counsellor and all that sort of stuff, and he became Lovejoy.
Right,
A
yes.
ginger Lovejoy.
But then he still had an edge because he was still like threatening to beat people up.
Just occasionally, though,
threatening-
Helen. Just very
He
occasionally.
was threatening to beat a teenage boy up. Granted, a teenage boy who, drove Liam to suicidal ideation. But still. And also, didn't he beat up that other guy because the guy who groomed Bethany. And he beat that guy up. Remember? He beat that guy up. And Maria says, you shouldn't beat people up. And he's like, I'm Gary. This is what I do.
Yeah, it almost seems that he's beating people up by accident, though.
And then he got his ass handed to him by Mick, which made no sense.
Yeah.
No sense. Only one of those men has been in the military.
Which put him on the same level as Sean.
And also, it's taller than Mick. Combat training and taller.
Gary's taller than Mick.
Yes, Gary is taller than Mick.
I guess I thought they were round about the same size.
I mean, he's no kid. But Gary is fairly tall.
The thing that I'm not sure about the Gary being this Gary
Right.
is it pushes Maria away. And I struggle to think that Gary, in whatever state, would do something like that. He knows he's onto a good thing there.
Yeah. It's like one of the best. They make each other better.
They do. You've said that.
Keep
a few
them
times, and you're
together
absolutely
and
right.
keep Gary not be insane, please.
Okay, final storyline is Aadi's trauma. On Wednesday, Lauren pops in.
Aadi's trauma?
Oh, did I not say it with enough of an inflection?
No. You said it with no inflection.
Aadi's trauma?
There you go.
On Wednesday. That's sat in a pin. On Wednesday, Lauren drops into the corner shop to invite Aadi round for dinner and to thank him and to apologise for being a moody cow the other day when she was still racist Kelly. She's even thrown a bit of lippy on. Meanwhile, in Nina's roles, Asha is chatting to Nina about Summer, who still isn't talking to her. And Nina notices that Asha isn't quite herself today. It's like, oh, what's going on here? And Asha's blaming the job. Because Asha's been good since she's been a paramedic.
Yes, but it is a very traumatic job.
It is. She catches Aadi being weird on his laptop, but the moment passes when Lauren arrives to cook dinner at their place, and she's brought her fucking bairn. They get on well, though, until Asha and Nina come in and Lauren bids a farewell. It's funny calling her Lauren. Later, Asha insists nothing is happening between her and Nina, and Aadi does the same with Lauren. Asha tells him if he's planning a relationship, he needs to tell her about the drink spike and stuff. So on Friday starts with a robbery at the corner shop.
Yes.
Aadi giving chase to a much quicker robber who sprints down the street and away. Asha rushes to the shop and learns that the robber threatened Aadi with a wrench and then emptied the till and the $6,000 that was in the safe.
Which is weird because when the robber runs out of the corner shop, he's not carrying a wrench. And when Aadi finally talks to the police, he does not mention a wrench or, just does not ask, where is this wrench?
Aadi's devastated that he's let Dev down and the cops don't seem to give a fuck. And then Bernie comes in and we have to go through the whole story again as he brings her up to speed. And then finally PC Jess shows up to take statements and she wants to know what happened. Jeez, we really are filling time. Aadi kicks himself for not taking the cash to the bank more regularly. Later, Brody comes in looking for his half of the insurance money, but Aadi's furious because Brody did the job during the day when they agreed to do it at night. And of course, Benny comes in and overhears this and realises that these two have been up to something. And these two being up to something takes an awful lot of suspension of disbelief.
That is
to get
correct.
through, doesn't it?
That is correct. And then the whole reason for that suspension of disbelief, what Aadi explains to Bernie about what has happened, It's like, no, it didn't.
They deny everything, but do it so badly. Brody does a runner, leaving Aadi to confess that this was an insurance job to repay the losses that he's made thanks to that time that he ordered far too much whisky. The real $6,000 is under his bed to pay off debts, and the insurance will cover the rest. Bernie wants to call the cops to come clean, and she's about to call Dev when Sarah comes in to speak to Bernie about another storyline, so Aadi slinks off back to the shop, unsure of where he stands. At the shop, Lauren comes in with a treat from the cabin to cheer him up. It's cola cubes. He wants to confess to her about everything, but she interrupts by telling him that she fancies him and wants to go bowling with him. He stumbles to an answer, which gives her the wrong impression, and then Asha comes in and Lauren stomps out. Later, Bernie grabs Brody and Aadi and says that she'll keep stum about all this to protect their relationships with their dads. Aadi and Brody just need to stick to their story. Back home, Bernie's given Aadi tips on how to lie when, holy fucking hell, Dev's back.
Emergency Dev!
Sups.
Emergency Dev!
Sups, bitches! What's been going down?
Emergency Dev!
Emergency Dev!
Of the week!
And that, inexplicably, is how we end this week's episodes. Dev just barges into the house,
Ta-da!
shouts that he's back, hugs the two of them, and then sits down and starts to eat pizza.
He has never been more Jeff Goldblum in his life than he is in this episode.
Yep.
Ooh, pizza!
Oh, chaos theory and dinosaurs. Oh, I love pizza. Dev, we have missed you.
We have. Oh, how we've missed you.
What a force of nature just bursts
Bursting
into the
in.
house. Jesus.
Ta-da!
All right, so we've got to believe that Aadi approaches Brody to do this, for one.
Right.
Trusts Brody to do this,
Right.
for two. Despite the fact that Aadi
Doesn't
kind of hates Brody.
Kind of hates Brody, yeah. Doesn't like him.
And I get the feeling that maybe the feeling is mutual.
One would imagine. Because Brody hates everybody, let's not forget.
Brody hates Aadi for not selling them booze.
Right. And also stealing his LSD.
So these two are in cahoots.
Yeah.
Really?
And really, all of a sudden, Aadi is in the hole for $6,000.
Because he ordered all that whiskey.
Right, but there was something else too. And it's like,
Oh, he says that he's had problems with his
Right.
stock and stuff.
yeah, that one whiskey order would not have done this.
It was a lot of whiskey.
Right, yeah. But it's Manchester. You should be able to get rid of that whiskey.
Hang on, it's Manchester, it's not Scotland.
It's close enough. It's the north.
The north of Delaware. That great, there's no wobbling noise.
Technically, it is north of Delaware. I think. Yes, it is north of Delaware.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
So when the two of them are supposedly working
How did
together,
they hatch this plan together?
who approached who? Well,
Aadi.
Aadi approached Brody, obviously,
Right.
and said, "You're a wrong 'un, right?
Yeah.
You fancy pretending to rob the store and I'll give you half of the insurance money?"
Right. Which Brody seems to think comes immediately,
And
which is hilarious.
And when did this conversation happen? Because Brody's been kind of busy this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
This had to happen on Wednesday when he was to and fro to the hospital,
Yeah. Something like that.
getting rejected by every man that he talked to, apparently.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So wait a minute, what?
Yeah. This is just dumb piled on top of dumb. On top of
Jeez.
dumb.
So
On top of
disappointing.
stupid.
Did you cheer when Dev came back into the show? I don't think I was expecting emergency Dev.
I wasn't expecting emergency dev. No one expects emergency dev or the Spanish Inquisition. But yeah, it was nice to see him. It was good to see him. It's like, yes, thank you.
He's got a little beard going on.
Yeah. Got a bit of a tan.
Now,
He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt for some reason.
because he's been to India.
Right.
So, But how he and Bernie, I think, are engaged to be married, aren't they?
Yes.
So maybe we'll get some of that going on. That's going to be hilarious.
Or that's going to be cancelled because she kept stum about his son
Oh, yeah.
doing insurance fraud.
That's absolutely going to come out, isn't it?
Oh, God, there's so much for Dev to catch up on. Craig's dead.
Right.
Mick is in jail. Gary was in a coma.
How long has Dave been out?
He's been out for a while. It's been like a few months, hasn't it?
Has Dave been in it since Mick's been in it?
I believe so, yes, because I believe I remember Chesney complaining about Mick to Dev at some point.
Dev's final appearance before coming back was February 12th.
He's been gone that long?
And Mick was February 14.
What?
So Dev's been out the show for the whole of Mick's storyline. So when anybody says, so Mick then broke into the school and went looking for, and they'll be like, the fuck's Mick? Yeah.
What?
How's this Mick geezer?
How did Dev all of a sudden go from Jeff Goldblum to Mick Jagger,
It is a natural transition.
if you say so?
That's amazing. The two of them.
Does that mean that he's never met Theo either?
That's right. So Dev could rip his mask off and be Mick,
Or Theo?
or vice versa. Mick was Dev all along.
He's got a lot of explaining to do as far as like
Yeah.
stabbing people.
And that flashback episode becomes completely different.
Yes. Flashback. No, don't even think about it. They killed Kenny. You bastards.
Yeah, this is never going to end in anything other than tears.
Yes.
Because it's a Coronation Street storyline. But
Absolutely.
despite the fact that there is no reason for this to happen, and this is, I guess, aiding Aadi's ultimate
Demise.
removal from or departure from the show.
Correct.
I
Of course.
kind of like him and Bernie having a secret. That's
Yeah.
I kind of
That's
like
fun.
that. Yeah.
That's fun.
And Bernie does stand up for. Well, she stands up for Brody first and then Aadi, or Aadi then Brody. Do you think? I think she's
It
doing
kind of
this.
felt like it was both of them all together.
I kind of
I
felt
think
it was
she's
Brody
more.
than
I
Aadi.
think she's more disappointed in Aadi because Aadi is not a wrong un.
And she seems to think that Aadi's taken advantage of Brody, calling him vulnerable.
He's a vulnerable bad guy.
That's about the only bit that I take exception to. All right, well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
Sally on the roof.
Sally on the Roof was absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
A powerhouse of a performance from
Absolutely.
Sally Diviner. And also from the wee lassie playing Joni,
Yes.
who is really, because Shanice was my favourite, because Shanice is cheeky.
And a cutie patootie.
But yeah, I was really impressed by Joni this week.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah,
All the way through too, because like in that scene in the school, she was doing an awful lot of acting with her face.
They have her quiet for a lot of the time, but then when she says something that's just delivered really well and she means it, and it makes it more powerful, I think.
Yeah, and even when she's quiet, she's acting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great stuff. Well
Yes.
done. Indeed, that was fabulous stuff. That's our
Moment of the week.
and our boring moment of the week.
Monday afternoon pub quiz.
Why did they insist on doing it in the afternoon?
Early afternoon. Like they leave work early. It's like lunch. And they're doing a pub quiz with famous celebrity dogs.
It's a good round. Lassie, the littlest hobo.
Crypto.
Benji? Was there Benji? Benji, Zach, and the Alien Prince? Yeah, Benji was a wee Yorkshire Terrier, I think.
Yes, Benji Come Home was a movie in the 1980s.
That's
which
about
had
my limit
no sound.
of celebrity dogs, so I don't think I do very well in that round. But yeah, that is our
Boring moment of the week.
Who does a pub quiz in the middle? And they do the afternoon thing quite a bit. You've
Yeah.
got the karaoke night in the afternoon.
Right.
And the drag night in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Do it
They're
at night, the Rovers. Maybe
Right.
your takings will go up. Who knows? All right, time for...
Yay!
This is my non-scientific Twitter poll where I ask our Twitter followers what they thought of this week's episodes, ranking it either as yay, meh, or zzz. And the results this week were zzz 36%, meh 40%, and yay 24%. So a fair to middling kind of score. No comments from anyone this week. No notes. No notes.
Nobody bitching about Mick under that truck?
Nobody. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Sometimes we get comments later on in the week.
It's true.
But anyway, we don't let these scores influence ours. Helen, what score would you give it this week out of 10?
3.
Really?
3. And those 3 points are all for Sally.
I enjoyed it a bit more this week than I did last week, so...
Really? I enjoyed last week more than this week.
Really? Because you've scored both 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I prefer one over the other. Just like you gave Beau is Afraid a half star more than I did, but we were both kind of meh about.
I think that proves that I liked it more than you did, though.
But only slightly. And we were both okay.
Yeah, and that's reflected in the score, which isn't here.
Nah.
I'll give it a 5, I think.
All right. See.
Down the road.
Still
Stuff that
fairly
annoyed
shite.
me. A lot of it is fairly shite, but I tell you that Lily and Sab story is interesting me. Dev's back. And I really liked the Swain stuff. So there was enough for me to get beyond the nonsense of the prison escape. And like you said, Sally's stuff was just fantastic. All right. Let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Vaughan, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, and Josephino Tinky. Thank you very much indeed, folks. We very much appreciate it. And you can all look forward to the bonus content that will be available very soon.
Yes.
If you got the first fucking clue what was going on during Wednesday's Corrie, write in to explain it to us. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky. Or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. You can shout me and Helen a coffee or become a friend of the podcast by heading to ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the-talk-of-the-street, or patreon.com/the-talk-of-the-street. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to a merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Superman!
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street, y'all.
Bye.
Cheerio.